Okay, we flip this over and start over again. We centered it. We taped this on here. There's our reference mark. What is the top? And we went out there. This circle doesn't matter. I just use this as a reference to make my compass points with my round thing, which I showed. This was the actual dimension. We put one out here, one here. We will intersect those with a Sharpie marker and a ruler. We'll know the mark on the top is at the top. This is the side we'll do most of our work from, except drilling the holes, which we'll figure out because we will be looking down on this when we center it on the vise. So you get the idea. We're going to connect these, connect the dots there. We'll have this pattern, X pattern on here. Okay, that's a 3/8 hole. We got our bolt here. We did put it up there and mark it. We marked the edges to look at it. I'm going to put this on here. We decided to mark on that side. If I can hit the hole on camera here. You don't have all day, people. We got stuff to do. I hear somebody saying it. No, okay, now we got our lines over on the side. Hope you can see it on the metal. Okay, we'll line those up. So we're going to take a scribe, because we already put marker in there. We want this pretty snug. We're going to take our scribe and go down in these holes and scribe it. And then we're going to start out with a 1/4 inch hole, because I have a real nice new 1/4 inch bit. This stuff drills pretty easy. Just put some oil on your bit. It isn't really hard steel. It's just a bigger nut. Take up the slack of the bolt. I didn't want it to bottom out. I don't know what's down inside of here. I don't want it hitting that piece or something and breaking it. So, you get the idea. We'll flip it over and mark these holes. See how we've lined it up? Because they will be slotted bigger. I mean, if I'm off a little bit, I can always readjust. We'll get this lined up with the marks we got on here. We'll go down and we'll take our scribe. We're going to use our little carbide tip. We're going to make a nice, clean line so we can center punch the center of it and get the holes drilled out. Then test bit, I found just 2 bolts. So, that's good. I've got 2 bolts to start with. I don't have to go to the hardware store yet. But you get the idea there. We're on our way. Okay, maybe hard to see, but that's enough to get it centered, because we know we have to stay on the line no matter what the pattern shows, and then we'll judge how far we're going to go this way and that way. We know we're going to center on the line no matter what. Said these holes will be bigger than a 3/8 eventually, because those are 1/2 inch bolt holes. So we're going to go 3/8. Said mark everything. I know this is going towards what I'm calling the front of the vise, which it is. It's not the back where the anvil is. We decided to go this way because this is the way we made our mark, because we had to readjust our mark because it wasn't straight. It will still slip. There will be some grease on here anyway. You'll never see this. I guess this will be a nice smooth side to weld to, because we don't know how we're going to mount this. It's probably going to be just welded to the top of the pipe when I'm done. Was the whole idea. It's just going to be set on the pipe and welded. And maybe just tack weld in case I want to take it off and modify it to go onto a bench. You could take this when this is done. You could put anything you want on to put on a bench. You could put feet on here. You could do anything. You could put some pipe on here for legs, spacer it, another piece. You can do anything you want once you got this turntable. The vise is worth saving. It's what a vise costs. I don't want to pay no $60 for a piece of junk vise. I'd like to have one of those ones that turn. You know how they turn the other way when you have it? You know what I mean? It's got that piece that turns. I may come across a used one, a broken one I can repair someday. Okay. Too much dilly-dallying. We'll get these holes drilled. We'll line it up with some 3/8 bolts to start with. See how that lines up? If it looks okay, we'll bore them out to a 1/2 inch. Okay, we've got it drilled for our 3/8 bolts. We'll see how good it lines up. I'd rather do that way, you know, with 3/8 bolts. in case one of them's off a little bit. Camera kind of makes that fish-eyed bubble that looks like this bolt's bent. You know what I mean, how cameras do. That's pretty good. We'll wall them out to 1/2 inch. That's pretty good if you get them centered. You get the idea. Drill it with 3/8 first. That way if I had to adjust something. Now I do have some 7/16 bolts. Okay. I don't think that's tough enough because I'm going with the full 1/2 inch. I know these are all a 1/2 inch. I had to measure once. I'm positive. These are 7/16. Use my cheapy caliper. Yeah, they're actually just a hair over 1/2 inch. Probably something like a little over 30 seconds or something for play. You know, so you got room in there. I don't know what I did here. Once I turned that, didn't have that tight, but yeah, we just don't have this plate real tight. But on to drilling the holes bigger. And then we'll work on designing. We'll probably take our cardboard. We'll do the same thing. We'll put holes in, and we'll design it on cardboard where our slot's going to be. You know, so we're not practicing on this. So we mess up, we'll just make another cardboard. We'll practice on what it's going to take to get that to turn. A 1/4 of a turn. What kind of slot we're going to need in there. Hope this turns out. It's a waste of video. So that's what I decided to do. Make slots in here so this turns on the bolt. I mean, to me it's common sense, but it can get complicated even to me when I do stuff sometimes. You get what I mean. Loosen this up. You're going to be turning in a 1/4 turn, which that's a 1/4 turn. There's the hole. So that's going to be a long slot. Said I do not want to use a torch. Since torch is messy, it will warp this. Whenever you get metal hot, that's going to be hard. This stuff drills just like butter. It is a mild steel. So we got lucky there. But once you start heating this stuff, you're going to change the steel. Then you'll never get through it. But so we get this all figured out. We'll probably turn it like this and drill our other hole. You know, mark it and drill it. That's going to be the end of our turn. So we got 2 more holes to go. We'll have arrows showing which direction it's going to turn, so we do not lose track. So that's not perfectly round, but it's the best I could do with a 4.5 inch grinder. Okay, we'll get back to work on this. This is going to be a long video series on this. How to modify your vise to make it turn again. I said, it's a quality vise. It's hard lifting around. Except what I gave for it, it's worth me putting some time and effort into it. Everything I'm using is out of the scrap. I haven't bought anything yet. You gotta figure it costs your welding rods and stuff, but still. This is a nice vise. It's really heavy duty. I do not know how old it is, but they're not made like this anymore. And you can always repair the jaws. Never fear. If you crack one of these, you can find a jaw. You strip the threads, don't worry. You can always take it in somewhere. You always carry your vise machine shop. Pay them. If it's that old vise worth it, I mean, I wouldn't pay $100 to repair it, but you can always find some guy to tap it. Get brave, tap it, and rethread it yourself one size bigger. Because these are like instep holes. You know, you have your screw and the hole's smaller where the bolt is, so it holds that on. You know what I mean. That's an overused thing. Okay, back to work. Too much rambling. Okay, it's pretty complicated. I just kept marking out. I used my divider thing. I also put the sharpening marker through the hole of the vise. Okay, this is going to need to turn a 1/4 of a turn. So it'll have to turn this far to be 1/4 of a turn. Okay. What we did made a series of holes. Like say that's in the middle. And then we went to the middle of the middle. We do have a couple extras. We kind of figured out where we could fit as many as we can. Okay, now to enlarge these 1/2 of an inch. This is the front, the top. Then we're going to enlarge Oh well, we got another one. We're going to enlarge these two 1/2 inch. Okay, that's start to finish. Then we'll work our way down here. Be careful when you're drilling holes close together. You will snap a bit so fast, fly up, get in your face. I've broken many a bit attempting that. I did it on my garden tractors. I had to try to make a hole that was slotted, and I didn't want to try to take a Dremel all day long on plate steel. But we'll drill this 1/2 inch. We'll go in the middle. Then we'll see how this works. We may have to take a grinder or something. We'll figure it out. If you had a die grinder, your air die grinder thing, you could cut that groove out. After you drilled your holes bigger on the end, you could sit there and mill that out with your air die grinder thing with whatever they call that bit goes on there, choosy metal. There you have it. You have to turn this far to turn a 1/4 of a turn, because the vise can be one direction or the other direction or in between. Gets kind of complicated. You got to hunt for a 1/2 inch bit. It should be easy to be found. So next picture will show us when this part's done, and it'll probably be another part making this mount to the pedestal and what kind of bolt I use. Like I said, I'm going to have something here to where the nut rides against it. So when you tighten it down, you have a nut on here, you tighten it down, there'll be something in here for this to ride on. Piece of curved metal or something. It's the only thing I can think of. Because you're going to be tightening the bolt this way. You can't have it, the nut has to be free to slide. So there'll be something here holding that nut. You get what I mean? It does fit good through most of the holes. There's a couple that's off a little bit, but by the time I go a 1/2 inch hole, they will get better. Go back to the front. There you go. Okay, that about covers that. We're just going to make these all bigger now. Well, nice slot. Getting confusing. I'm about done for the project for the day. So, thanks for watching this part.